Hello and welcome to Doves for Peace. Thank you for joining me this Tuesday night. I'm Dr. Keith Beasley and I'd like to share with you just a few of my life experiences and insight on the subject of, well, what else with Valentine's Day fast approaching? Love. Love in all its myriad forms. And the question I'd like to put to you is, what, if anything, are the similarities and the differences between divine love, God's love, deep cosmic feeling, and the romantic love that we all seem to seek and desire and consider so important in our lives? So these are the topics for tonight, and if you have any particular questions as I go through, please put them on the chat board, and when I come to an end of my prepared bit, then I'll be happy to look at them. But as always, I like to start with just a few moments quiet together. So I invite you to take a deep breath in, and in your own time breathe out. And as you breathe in, imagine that you are breathing in a sense of peace, a sense of calm, a divine love, a sense of being connected into all that is wonderful and peaceful and true in the world. Breathe in a sense of peace and of calm, and breathe out all other thoughts, all other feelings. Thank you. So, are you all ready for Valentine's Day? If you bought your cards, you're expecting to receive any? And how does that fit with any faith or spiritual practice you might have? Are they two separate parts of your life, or is there a significant overlap or common ground? Well, that's what I'd like to explore tonight. And as you'll know from me, you'll get a wide variety of different topics and themes as I explore this idea. And of course, this wouldn't be a Dr. Keith show unless I did a song or two. So let's start with the hymn. I suppose I do tend to do one a hymn or a spiritual song, and then I'll do one more secular, but just to show you that often they come from a very similar place with a very similar message. So this is from Mission Praise, number 149, and this is penned by the wonderful Charles Wesley, no less. Love divine, all love excelling, joy of heaven to have come down, fix in us thy humble dwelling, all thy faithful mercies crown. Jesus, thou art all compassion, pure, unbounded love thou art. Visit us with thy salvation, enter every trembling heart. Breathe, oh breathe, thy loving spirit into every troubled breast. Let us all in thee inherit, let us find thy promised rest. Take away the love of sinning, Alpha and Omega be, end of faith as its beginning, set our hearts at liberty. Come, Almighty, to deliver, let us all thy grace receive, suddenly return, and never, never more thy Thee we would be always blessing, serving as thy hosts above. Pray and praise thee without ceasing, glory in thy perfect love. Finish then thy new creation, pure and spotless let us be. Let us see thy great salvation perfectly restored in thee. Change from glory into glory, till in heaven we take our place, till we cast our crowns before thee, lost in wonder, love and praise. Lost in wonder, love and praise. Lost in love. Is that the same as when we are lovesick, when we lose all sense of everything else because we are so in love that we don't notice anything else? Well, we'll return to that a bit later, but there is so much in this hymn, and as I was practicing it the other day and even singing it just then, so many of the words are very relevant to what I'm going to be saying tonight. Take away the love of sinning. A love of sinning, what's that? Well, any form of addiction, I guess. Any way in which we're so attached to drinking too much or being in love with someone for the sake of it, or anywhere where we are not at peace with ourselves. And so this song is asking us to reconnect to the divine love and to rise above any other form of more selfish attachment, which we sometimes call love. What else have we got here? Letting go of attachments. So all of this is about the divine love and how when we are in love with God, when we're in Christ consciousness, I would say, then is it not that connects us to the divine love and helps us to allow that love that is within and around us all to flow through us, and us as we share with other people, we are expressing God's love. And for those of you who are listening to me over the last couple of shows, I was talking about peace and the channel of love. And when we let go of our attachments, we become a clear channel for love, for God's healing energy. And that is love divine, isn't it? So that's one perspective. And to me, it's a very similar idea that I teach when I'm teaching Reiki. And when I was first working out what Reiki was to me and how I needed to teach it to help other people to understand Reiki and to go with it, I would say that Reiki is chi, it's prana, it's the life force. Reiki is God's healing energy, if you like. But then I remembered that one of the things I'd come to terms with some years previously that really helped me to get back into my Christian roots was that God is love. Okay? And likewise, when I'm explaining Reiki as a form of healing, I say, well, giving Reiki is loving someone. It's enabling a sharing of healing between us. And so Reiki is love, God is love. Ah, right. Okay. And so as I was explaining all this, I was writing my own book on Reiki, Reiki Without Rules. Well, I tried to piece together some of the general spiritual ideas with day-to-day life with what Reiki means to me. And I found myself writing this. When in a Reiki healing experience, we are, quite literally, in love. Our whole mind, body and soul is immersed in divine love and light. With practice, this sensation can be extended from a healing treatment session into our day-to-day lives. Thus, we can begin to live in the light or in love. So when we're living in love, when our day-to-day lives is imbued with Reiki, imbued with a presence of being true to ourselves, then are we not in love? If we are open channels to God's love, that's really being in love, isn't it? When we are immersed in life itself, when we are immersed in the oneness of everything. And certainly that's what I find when I am connected through Reiki or through prayer or meditation or through song, that I feel that I am a channel for God's love, and that I'm joyous because I'm allowing that love to live through me. I'm in love without any particular person, without any particular thing. Being in love is something much deeper and broader than that. So let us compare that now with the being in love of a more romantic nature. So when we're in love divinely, it doesn't disconnect us from what's going on, does it? When we're in love in a divine sense, when we're being true to ourselves, when we're being present, we're totally aware of what's going on around us. We can appreciate the birds singing. We can appreciate the sun reflecting in a raindrop. We can appreciate everything about life. So when we're in love divinely, we are totally aware of everything that's going on around us. We're able to focus on whatever is important at that moment. So we are truly present, we are truly in a moment. That's what being in love, divine love, means. So to be in love divinely, it's a way of life, it's some eternal connection. And even if we lose that immediate sense, it leaves us calm, it leaves us happy, it leaves us peaceful. Okay, compare that to being in romantic love. When we've just got a new relationship, it's all so intense, it's all so passionate, it's all so powerful. But what does it do? It disconnects us from everything else, or it can do, can't it? We're so preoccupied with this love that we can't sleep, we can't focus on anything else. Is that really being in love? Maybe not. Maybe that's love sickness. And maybe that is just the passing phase at the beginning of a relationship. When we're in love romantically, when it ends, we're devastated, aren't we? Because this love sickness is being in love with the idea of love, perhaps. It's just it's more an attachment, it's more of what's the word I'm looking for? It's more of an intensity, can't think of a word. It certainly isn't the same as the divine love. It's just more of an attachment, it's more of a fascination, which can actually be more harm when it's good. So romantic love is really, in that sense, where it's just a love sickness, it's, I found, a poor substitute for a real thing. That isn't to say that we can't have both. If our romantic love also happens to be in the divine flow, if we can have our romantic love as part of a broader divine love, well, now that's more like it. But there are other forms of love too, aren't there? And this first dawned on me many, many years ago now, when I was single and frustrated at being single, and my latest attempt at romance had failed bitterly, and I was devastated. That I went into the nearby wood and I walked through this, I think it was spring, and the primroses were out. And I felt really connected to that forest, that wood, and to the flowers. And I began to realise that, oh, actually, I can still feel a connection. I can still feel love without having a girlfriend. And so that really got me thinking about, well, aspects of love. and how many different ways we can love things. So, for example, there is love of nature, to be able to appreciate the singing birds, the sunsets, the sea, a babbling brook. And are they not signs of God's love, of the love of creation, just manifest in our day-to-day lives? It's all part of what is, but nature is such a wonderful way of appreciating it and being part of it. And then there's motherly love, that really special deep bond between a mother and her children. There's no alternative, we can't recreate it in any other way. It's selfless love. Is that not also a form of divine love? I would suggest it is. One we often forget is self-love, the need and ability we all have to love ourselves. And again, this was something that dawned on me when I was single, and I was struggling with being single, and then suddenly it dawned on me. I thought, if I've got no one to love me, and there's no one out there who is going to love me, why don't I love myself? And that was a bit of a breakthrough for me. The idea that I was worthy of my own love, and that if there was no one else around, that I could give myself a hug, I could pat myself on the back, I could give myself a nice meal or a nice glass of wine or something. And there was nothing wrong with that. So rather than bemoaning the fact that I had nobody for me to love, and bemoaning the fact that I didn't have a lover, I sort of solved both problems at once. I love myself. And so long as it is genuine love when we need it, so long as it's not being selfish, self-centered, is that not another way of expressing divine love? Because, yeah, we all are God's children. We are all part of the essence of life. God is within us all. We all have this joyous centre. So why can't we love ourselves? So that was a very important step I found in making sense of what love was. Another thing I turned to, again back in the days which was in the 1990s, when I was single and didn't have a serious partnership, is that I was very heavily involved in my local community. It's a lovely village called Hayford in Northamptonshire in the UK. And at that time we had a very strong community focus. And I was part of a Morris side. You would go out and dance at fetes and things. And we also had a local theatrical group, the Hayford Players. And once a year we would perform a pantomime, and we'd do some other stage show. And to be part of a community where I could really just throw myself into whatever was going on in the community, through dancing, through acting, through singing, I really felt I belonged. And is that not another facet of love? We seek love, fundamental human need, because we need to feel we belong. And we need to feel we belong in a nice countryside. We need to feel we belong within a faith tradition, perhaps. We also need to feel we belong within our community. And so I pieced all these together, and I don't know if you can see this. This is what I came up with. This is my aspects of love. And so it's showing that at the heart is God's love, but we have love of nature, we have community spirit, we have motherly love, we have self-love. Another one I've got there is brotherly love, where we are sharing with kindred spirits, perhaps in a community group, in a choir, in a football team. Anywhere where we can feel we belong is part of sharing love. So if you're listening to this, watching this, and you're without a special someone, I hope this gives you hope and gives you a focus that we can still feel loved and we can still express our love by engaging in all these other aspects of love. But how then does romantic love fit into it all? Okay, time for the next song. This is from the penning of Andrew Lloyd Webber, no less. Many of you will know this one. So he's talking about romantic love, but how much of what he's saying is true of love generally? Love changes everything, hands and faces, earth and sky. Love changes everything, how you live and how you die. Love can make the summer fly, or a night seem like a lifetime. Yes, love changes everything. Now I tremble at your name. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Love changes everything. Days are longer, words seem more. Love can break the strongest heart. Pain is deeper than before. Love will turn your world around, and that world will last forever. Yes, love changes everything, brings you glory, brings you shame. Nothing in the world will ever be the same. Off into the world we go, planning futures, shaping years. Love bursts in and suddenly all our wisdom disappears. Love makes fools of everyone. All the rules we make are broken. Yes, love changes everything. Live or perish in its flame. Love will never, never let you be the same. Love will never, never let you be the same. Love will never, never let you be the same. Which love are we talking about there? Any and all, I suspect. Once we have found that special someone, then there will always be a place in our heart for them, and that love will change us. And if we do get attached to someone, then it will be painful when they leave. And if we throw ourselves into the divine love of living in the moment, of being joyous, then that too can change our lives. Either way, love helps us to relinquish our conscious attachments, our emotional attachments to things, and help us to be present and love in the present moment, don't we? So, okay, I've been talking and singing, and as you know, I like to include a little exercise that gives you a chance to reflect on what I've been saying, or perhaps apply it. So I'm going back now to my Reiki book, Reiki Without Rules, in which I include quite a few little exercises that we can all join in with. So in this, I give a few examples of brotherly love, of community spirit, and all the things I've been talking about. And I also say quite a bit about love of nature. And I've got 2 or 3 interesting sidelines on that. I was born and brought up in a little village, and I felt I was a country lad. And then some years ago, I went to live in Portugal, up in the Serra de Monchique, the hills of the Algarve, southern Portugal. Lovely, peaceful, natural place, and I did enjoy that period of my life. But after a few years I realised that although I was a country lad, having just nature wasn't enough for me. I needed the community as well. I needed intellectual stimulation as well. So it's getting the balance, isn't it? But that period within nature, where it was me and many acres of eucalyptus trees, really helped me to face myself. And sometimes that's a role for the countryside. But the other side of it is in our day-to-day lives. Going back to this village in Northamptonshire, where I lived for many years, I remember that I lived at the top of a bit of a hill, and it was about a 10-15 minute walk down to the shops where I could get most of what I needed. Wonderful sense of village community, everything present without needing a car. But it was uphill from the shops carrying my shopping, and if the wind happened to be blowing against me downhill, it was quite tough. And at times I would get annoyed and frustrated by this. And then I don't know what it was. It may have been a song that was in the charts at the time or recently. And it's a song that is sort of in the news at the moment. I hope you can hear this. Let me just play this for a moment. Any of you recognise this? Anybody who recognise it? Demis Roussos, who sadly died very recently, and this was one of his chart-topping hits, My Friend the Wind. And I took hold of this idea. I don't know if it was inspired by Demis Roussos or not, I can't remember. But I thought, okay, so here's me fighting the wind as I'm walking up from the shop. And I realised that, well, actually, the wind was blowing towards me. And what happens if you're flying a kite? You allow the wind to lift you, don't you? And so I played with this idea, and instead of getting angry with the wind, I made friends with the wind. I imagined that as I was walking into it, I leaned slightly into the wind, but the wind got underneath me and was lifting me somewhat. It was lifting my load, it was lifting my shopping. And although it wasn't exactly flying, it wasn't exactly Mary Poppins on her umbrella, it took away quite a lot of the pressure or the perceived energy that I was exerting. I made friends with the wind, and instead of being a real challenge walking up that hill with my shopping against the wind, I was able to enjoy it. And I'd like you to try a little exercise to see if you can do the same. So you might like to close your eyes and imagine that you're on a walk and the wind is blowing strongly in your face. Instead of thinking, the wind's against me, welcome the freshness of the breeze. Feel the tingling of the breeze on your skin. Let the wind blow away any thoughts that disturb your peace. Let the wind blow away any frustrations. Let the wind blow away your troubles. Let the wind blow away whatever's clogging up your mind. Make friends with the wind. Feel the wind blow away whatever is bothering you. Feel your mind cleared by the wind, all the deadwood blown away, leaving you feeling at peace and enlivened. Feel the wind clear your channel. Make friends with the wind. Turn what seems to be against us in our favour, like all good martial artists. Perhaps it seemed like hard going walking in the woods, but let the wind help you. Lean into the wind with head and shoulders and allow it to pick you up like a kite. You now only need effort to move forward. The wind is carrying your weight for you. Watch the birds circling around you and like them fly. Listen to the whooshing of the wind in your ears. What's it saying? Is there a message for you? Or is it a soothing sound, easing your mind into the natural environment around you? Listen. Make friends with the wind and it will support you. Be with the energy of life. Making friends with the wind. Thank you. I hope you found that useful, and bear it in mind next time you're out in a strong wind. Turn that energy into a friend and use it to your advantage. Okay, I'm coming to the end of the half hour, which is all I usually like to spend on my prepared material, but I'll be happy to pick up comments and questions from the chat room after in a few moments. I'd just like to finish with a little poem, page 38. And we're talking about love, and this is a poem from A Brave New World Emerging, which is a book of poems I wrote over many years when I was struggling to find what love meant to me. All these books of mine I'm mentioning are available on Amazon and they're listed on my website, for which Sean has kindly given you the link. Okay, how deep is your love? How deep is your love? As deep as the peace that passeth all understanding. How deep is your love? I am love, from top of head to tip of toe. I am love, here, now, wherever I go. How deep is your love? So deep, the immersion in one is total, embracing the beginning and end of time. How deep is your love? It is deep, it is wide, it is broad, it is long, and yet infinitesimal, nothing, dissolved away. How deep is your love? Endless, seamless, and a reflection of all extremes. Thank you. Thank you all for listening and staying with me. I'm going to stay on air for the next 5-10 minutes or so, and I'll now have a look at the chat, and if you have any questions or comments, please post them. What have we got? Let's have a look. So, hello, yes. Hi Louise. Happy crocheting. Hi Mary. I hope you're all well. Encore. Oh, I don't know about that. Let me think. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. As I say, any questions, comments, please feel free to post them. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Thank you. Bye for now. Look forward to meeting you next time, which I think is in 2 weeks' time, on the 24th, where I'm going to be looking at peace and healing. Healing. What is healing? So I look forward to your company again then. Thanks very much for listening. I'm glad you like the singing, and I hope you've all been joining in with me. Bye for now.